Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be comparing Leo Carlsson and Adam Fantilli, two high-end centers in this 2023 draft class that are projected to be super great players. They will be drafted after Connor Bedard. Fantilli is ranked about second and third place for most scouts, whereas Carlsson, he's ranked third or fourth. So we are going to compare the two and see who is truly the better player. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. But anyways, let's get right into it. Both players are doing pretty amazing things in their league. Adam Fantilli, he plays in the NCAA, and he just finished with the third best ever points percentage for a draft-eligible player, finishing with nearly 2 points per game. He finished at about 1.80, and he recently just won the Hobey Baker Award as a freshman, joining Jack Eichel and Paul Kariya. Impressive company. And you have Leo Carlsson, who just had an amazing season in the SHL, and he's currently in the playoffs, and he's chasing the record for most points ever by a draft-eligible player. He's just behind Daniel and Henrik Sedin. He just got his 9th point, and he's coming for that record. Both of these players are so impressive, and they come with very little amount of holes in their games. We'll start with goal scoring. Which one is the better goal scorer? Adam Fantilli does project to be the better shooter. He just has a shot that is close to being a world-class shot. I would just like to see his accuracy improve just a little bit, but Adam Fantilli is a total shooter. He's just always itching to get a shot on net, and he just wants to be that guy who puts it on goal. Whereas Leo Carlsson, he has a pretty underrated shot. I would like to see him utilize it a little bit more, but he's certainly going to be more of a playmaker. Don't sleep on Carlsson's shot, though. It is really good. It's just that it seems like at times he would rather set up a play. He is really good with knowing when to shoot and put a shot on goal, where Fantilli, his shot is super powerful. Just that wrist shot is excellent. A really good slap shot and one-timer. Which player is going to be better at faceoffs? Well, it's actually really hard to say at this point, because both players finished with nearly 52% on faceoffs. Fantilli, he was just a little under 52, and Carlsson, he was just a little above 52. So it is pretty hard to say at the moment, but we do know both players are going to be really good at faceoffs, and they'll be taking important draws all the time. I do see Carlsson being the better passer. He just has a bit of an edge over Fantilli. I love his ability to be able to slow things down. That is what is always so impressive. He always makes the right pass. He's really deceptive. If Carlsson's development can go to plan, I think he could possibly be a top 10 playmaker in the NHL someday. Just the things that he's capable of doing at top speed and the passes that he pulls off while he's moving super fast is really stellar. Fantilli isn't very far behind Carlsson, though, when it comes to playmaking abilities. He's a fantastic passer. Just the effortless passes that he makes that end up being like perfect is such a good sign. My one flaw with Fantilli is sometimes he'll make a pass that just isn't really necessary, and he seems like at times he's just trying to rush the play. He wants to get to the offensive zone as fast as possible, whereas Carlsson, he's okay with slowing things down and making sure that the team will thrive with transition and do it the right way. Fantilli is really good there too. It's just sometimes I see that mistakes. Both of their hockey sense really comes into play with their passing abilities. They often move it to the right guys, and they're really good with opening up those lanes. I think Fantilli just has so much potential. If all goes well with his development, I could see him a guy who puts up 50 and 50, 50 goals, 50 assists. Carlsson, I think he's more on the Nicklas Backstrom side of things, where I think he's going to be able to rack up the assists. The goal scoring, we'll have to see how that comes along, but he could possibly put up multiple 30-goal seasons. I would really like to see Carlsson go to Montreal. Then he could play with Cole Caulfield, and that would really rack up the points for him. Or if he maybe goes to Columbus, then he'll have Kirill Marchenko and Patrick Laine. That would really benefit Leo Carlsson. Both of these guys have a great motor. Their high-end speed is excellent, And Fantilli's, when his skating ability really combines with his forechecking and back-checking abilities. Fantilli is just so reliable all over the ice, and when he sees that work needs to be done over in the corners or on the boards or wherever it may be, Fantilli is going to fly over there and get the job done and battle hard to get that puck. Carlsson's a really good skater too. Just the difference between him and Fantilli is Carlsson lacks that initial stride. His just ability to be able to take off is something that needs to improve. Whereas Fantilli, once he moves, like that first stride that he takes, he's already flying. So Carlsson needs to work on that area in his game. What scouts are looking for is players who can do impressive stuff while moving fast. And that's what Carlsson is capable of doing. I love him when he's at his full top flight, just the way he can bulldozer through players, and he just has the determination that if he wants to get through somebody or multiple players, he is going to do it. And he has the hands to be able to pull it off. Fantilli does nearly as impressive stuff as Carlsson when he's at top speed. It's just that what Fantilli has to work with is just that consistency, and the overall with his skating, it is there. So with Carlsson, we're going to be looking for him to complete his skating ability. If he can get it all together, then I really see these players being on about the same tier as a skater. Plus, on top of how good of skaters they are, they're also really big players, which just makes things even better. Adam Fantilli coming at 187 pounds, and he's 6'2". Leo Carlsson, he's 6'3" and already 195 pounds. It is super promising how well these guys can move and just for how big they are. Both players do a great job at protecting the puck when they're moving, and they use their frame well to make sure nobody's going to steal that puck. Plus, they have the hands just to be able to really work their way through players and just hustle with that puck. It is super exciting seeing what these players are capable of doing. They have the hands and just the ability to power through players. I think Fantilli and Carlsson are going to thrive so much in this category. I'll give Carlsson the edge just because I do think he has better hands than Fantilli, but you can't sleep on Fantilli's dangles. Both of these players move the puck around so well, but just Carlsson, some of the stuff he does at top speed is just magic. Which player truly uses their frame better, though? I think I'll give Fantilli the edge. I just think that he's so consistent with his forechecking and back-checking abilities. Just seems like at all times he uses his body at the right time, and he's not scared to use it. Whereas Carlsson, he's pretty consistent in this area too, but he can be a little soft at times, and sometimes it just seems like he should have probably used his body for a specific play, but he kind of shies away. However, let's not forget that Carlsson plays in the SHL against men, whereas Fantilli, he's in the college league. So the competition is certainly much more elite in the SHL. So maybe once both of these players make it to the NHL and they're fully bulked up and they've matured into their bodies, maybe we will actually see that they are pretty much in the same tier with their physicality. Both of these players are really good defensively too. They're just always in great position. They're always making sure they're covering for a guy when the time is needed. And they're just really consistent. They always move the puck to the right areas, and they're very good with their forechecking and back-checking abilities. I just really like Carlsson's ability to slow things down, and it comes into play in all sorts of different areas in the ice, whether it's the power play or just in transition in his defensive zone. Carlsson is really good with his patience, and Fantilli is pretty good with that too, but I would like it just to improve a bit. It's really impressive how smart these players are. The hockey IQ is so promising. They read the ice well. They just see the ice. The vision is amazing with these two. They know where everybody is. They always know where to be. They're such hard workers. They just are always battling for that puck, and that's exactly what you want to see in players who have the potential to evolve into #1 centers. These guys are battling, stick lifting, just attacking players. They're always fighting for possession, and it's at rare times when you see them not fighting for the puck or just making a smart play, being in a good area. They're effective players. It sure is hard to compare the two. They are such talented players, and all I know is if I was drafting second overall and I wanted a center, I would have a tough time choosing between Adam Fantilli and Leo Carlsson. My gut tells me, though, that Adam Fantilli is your guy at second overall. I just love the overall skating. Like I was saying, his ability to take off immediately and that high-end speed is there. Whereas compared to Carlsson, he still has a little bit of work to do with his skating ability. Plus the shot. Fantilli, he's just a much better shooter than Carlsson. Fantilli should be the way better goal scorer, and his playmaking abilities aren't far behind Carlsson. I do love Carlsson's hands, though. Those dangles and just the way he somehow powers through players in marvelous ways. It's amazing to see. So I do have the edge here for Carlsson. Plus, everybody seems to underestimate the fact that Carlsson is doing these amazing things in the SHL. I mean, what if the tables were reversed? What if Adam Fantilli was in the SHL and what if Leo Carlsson was in the NCAA? What would the production look like then, and what would the scouts be saying at that point? I think it's safe to assume that both of these players are going to be competing against each other to see who is the better one for a very long time. But I think whoever you go with in this draft, you're going to be super satisfied with them. Just those two-way abilities are fully there. There's not too many flaws, and I think they're both going to be excellent players. That'll be all for today, though. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and drop a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. If you had the choice to choose between Adam Fantilli or Leo Carlsson, who would you go with?